Ask Reddit.
What's the scariest thing that's ever woken you up during the middle of the night? Woke up to my dad covered in blood shaking me like a lunatic. Apparently he had a dream that he was in an army and was killing people. He woke up, went to the bathroom, saw he was covered in blood from a nosebleed, and thought he sleepwalked, murdered his family. Oh, that was probably the scariest thing he woke up to too. My father is a war veteran and I've had similar experiences. He would wake up in the middle of the night and check all the rooms to make sure everyone was still alive because he thought something had gone wrong. It's happened more than once when I would go into his room to get a towel. Towels were kept there, and he would literally startle awake to the slightest sound and jump out of bed ready to kill me. Pretty fucking scary. Perhaps the towel room should be relocated. The sound of a train while camping in Kansas. Turns out it was actually a train and not a tornado, but that rain had me fear for my life. Tornado. Choo-choo motherfucker. Sharknado 2. Sharks on a train. It was supposed to be a simple train ride. Starring Samuel L. Jackson as some guy who says, "I've had it with these motherfucking sharks on this motherfucking train in this motherfucking tornado." The New York Times called it motherfucking tractor. Falling down the stairs. I was 12 and I was sleepwalking. I woke up as I was falling from the first step and proceeded to tumble down 18 stairs. All I got was a bruise. You're very lucky you didn't end up getting seriously hurt because falling down so many steps could have ended very badly. As a kid, I once fell down 2 sets of stairs because 6-year-old me was too dumb to stop between them. My mum kissed me and I was all okay. Falling downstairs feels weird as fuck though. It's like getting manhandled by your own house. You wanna come up in my domain, my dojo, just because you got some piece of paper that says you own me? Oh hell nah. Op proceeds to fall downstairs. That's right, bitch, ain't nobody gonna fuck with Huey the house. My little brother was hiding in my closet to scare me when I went to bed. He was in there for a while and fell asleep on some stuffed animals. He woke up in the middle of the night and just sort of fell out of the closet. I woke up to him just getting up and going to his room. My life is tame. Hahaha, that sounds fucking hilarious. No explanation or anything, just a silent escape full of regret. Jesus Christ. That made me laugh. Yeah, he just looked at me and sorta shrugged and walked out. Was pretty funny the next day. My brother had a friend staying over one night, and so did I. For some reason, his friend got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, then forgot which room was my brother's, I guess. My mattress was on the floor, so basically I've got this kid randomly wandering into my room in the middle of the night, who starts turning in circles like a cat before curling up at the foot of the bed. Luckily he seemed to have realized that no, he was not in the right place, probably because me and my friend were laughing our asses off. He got up and left and never stayed over at our house again. Walk of shame. Part of my ceiling collapsed on me. We knew there were leaks from the roof and were in the process of fixing those ourselves without really looking into any of the structural damage. After that, we hired professionals. Whoa. Were you hurt at all? Or did you sleep through it? Not hurt, it was just a large piece of drywall and insulation that fell on me. I'd already had a long day before that, so my reaction at the time was fuck this, I'm not in the mood, and kicked it off my bed before going back to sleep. That is exactly the thing I would and have done in the past. It was Thanksgiving Day in about 2001. I was 16 and still lived at home. It was about 10 in the morning when I awoke to a loud bang that came from the other end of the house. I knew my mother was up and would deal with it. I went back to sleep. I finally woke up for good 15 minutes later when my mother wouldn't stop talking and was panicking. So I go up and saw the rear bumper of a car in our living room. Good times. The turkey was quite moist. How the fuck do you reverse into a house? Our house is down a small hill, and the house across the street is up another small hill. The owner of the car parked it and left it in gear instead of using her e-brake, but the gear she left it in was reverse. It started rolling down the hill, somehow missed my dad's car and my truck, and hit a short wall right under a window. She moved the couch about 2 feet. The craziest thing is that this unmanned car made it through the gap of my dad's car and my truck. There had to have been less than 6 inches to spare total. Her insurance didn't do anything. That's what homeowners insurance is for. Somebody trying to break in. I was living alone at the time in a little studio flat in the city center. It was about 3 a.m. and I was woken up by some crashing sounds in the hallway, and then somebody started kicking hard at my bedroom door. Fortunately, my door at the time was a pretty hefty fire door with a good strong lock, so I had enough time to call the police before he did any damage to it. I was living pretty close to the police station, so they turned up fast with dogs and caught him still inside the building. As it turned out, the guy was absolutely wasted and looking for somewhere to sleep, and from the outside my place still looked like the empty nightclub it used to be before it was converted into flats. So my guess is he thought it would be empty rather than actually attempting to attack anyone living there. I was still very shaken up by it at the time. Haha, wow. That's kinda crazy. Maybe he was a regular at the club before it was made into flats. I thought I was going to have to fend him off with a curtain pole. Nice work, hefty fire door.
I woke up to a cockroach that had crawled into my ear. I shit you not. Excruciating pain, tried to flush it out with water, no luck. I had to lie there for 6 hours before Mum took me to hospital while it moved around, scratched my eardrum, and fluttered its wings. That sound is terrifying when it comes from in your ear. My ear was bruised from how hard I was pushing in an attempt to stop it moving. They first tried to blast it out with a high-pressured little hose, which hurt like a bitch and didn't work. So then they poured oil into my ear to drown it, then sucked the fucker out with a little vacuum.
I'm sorry you had to go through this. But mostly I'm sorry I had to realize this is a real possibility in life. Perhaps one of the more useful things I've learned on the wards. Attending physician. How many legs does a cockroach have? Me. Oh. AP. Seriously. How many legs does a roach have? Me. I don't know. AP. 6. You better remember that. Me. Why? AP. Well, when someone has a cockroach in their ear and you pull it out, you better make sure to count the legs of all the fragments you remove. 6. You got all of the bug. And TBH, bugs crawling in sleeping person's ears is pretty common.
Woke up to my hamster screaming and I immediately started screaming for some reason. I then crawled over, still screaming. So we were both screaming at each other for a good 30 seconds. Was the scariest shit ever. He was fine, he's the biggest pussy ever. I think he shit himself from climbing too high.
When I was younger, my mum was in the attic above my room, and due to the weak flooring she fell through the ceiling and onto the end of my bed. Somehow this didn't disturb me. What made it terrifying was that when I awoke in the morning, there was a large hole in the ceiling above me and an old clown puppet staring down at me. It was horrible. Did the puppet get placed there by family or did it just fall out of a box in the commotion? His mum was an old clown puppet. It was just placed there in the attic. My family didn't place it there to scare me.